I think when she first started, she was always naturally athletic. So she got on this, she started out at Sports Ball Swords and she played at Erpenbeck and all those leagues, and people always thought she was amazing. People would come up to us after games and say, "She is so good."
Well, I definitely think we're a sports family, and me being the last kid with, I had an older brother and older sister, they both played sports, so it was kind of a given that I was going to play sports. And, my brother is closest in age to me, so I always played outside basketball with them all the time, so it's kind of natural. I just gravitated towards basketball. I remember I played on an all-boys team, and I played for Coach Keon, and my nickname was Speedy, and I'm pretty sure I was one of two girls on the team, and I was just athletic at that age, and I could keep up a little bit, but started from there. Maddie was in 7th grade, and I was a cheerleader, and I think it would have been my senior year of high school. But I remember a guy who was my age in the student section being like, "Maddie did something good, like a Euro step or something," and he was like, he was like freaking out, and he's like, "How old is she?" And I was like, "Oh, she's in 7th grade," and he was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, he was losing his mind over it, and I think I was like, "Oh, I guess, yeah, she's really good."
So she started training really hard. I don't know all the dates, but she started training with Abby Jump, and Abby had been a college coach at Bucknell University. She ended up coming to one of the regional finals game at NKU and saw Maddie play, and after that game she messaged me on Facebook and said, "Hey, I'm going to be in town, I've got some basketball experience, I would love to train your daughter." So we started setting up trainings with Abby, and she really thrived from that. So she started training, I don't remember, 6 days a week, and if they couldn't get into the gym, Abby would come here and they'd train in the backyard. That happened probably through her sophomore year. And then Maddie started missing the social life, I think. She was making new friends at Ryle and wanted more freedom. So her dad and I stopped Maddie and said, "We're done scheduling trainings for you. It's all up to you now." So she went through, wasn't too long, but I might say a couple months where she stopped training, she stopped doing anything. We thought, okay, maybe basketball's done. And eventually she started to miss it and started getting her time back in the gym. And then from then on out, she never stopped.
Yeah, those are fun times.
Talk about the EYBL. How was it playing on that?
Yeah, the EYBL is different, you know. I mean, I don't think if I didn't play for an EYBL team, I don't think I would be as good as I am or have the attention that I have gotten, especially with the coaches. They know so many people, and you know, we didn't even know about the EYBL. I was the first, you know, one to play, like, obviously in the EYBL in my family, and so, you know, we're talking to the coaches, and they're like, oh, you got to play for this team. There's a crazy amount of college coaches every tournament and all this stuff, and you know, when I got on the one of the top 2 EYBL teams, it was crazy because you're playing against the best girls in the country at all times. And you know, my last 2 years at AAU, I knew every girl I played against pretty much. I knew every girl in the best, you know, top whatever on ESPN. They pretty much all play for the EYBL, so it's an intense league. Down the road. No.
So why Oregon?
Mainly just the coach and the culture, you know, even, you know, with them being across the country, it was definitely, you know, out of the schools, you know, out of my like top 5, it was definitely the main school that I felt was like most like home. And obviously they're a very top tier program and competitive, and, you know, I want to go there and, you know, win a national championship. I think God made me a very passionate and driven person, and, you know, part of my purpose, I think, is being able to play basketball. And, you know, I want to be able to use that and play basketball for greater things, not just be just a basketball player. Yeah, I mean, I can say so many times, like, oh, it takes so much work, but I don't think people understand, you know, how many times I was outsider in a gym training all the time. And, you know, I mean, it was like middle school, you know, me playing up with the high school, being around the high schoolers all the time, and then training all the time. I didn't even have, you know, time to have a social life pretty much because I was just doing basketball all the time. But it didn't really bother me because I loved to play.
So out of your accolades, which one would you say made you feel the best?
Definitely McDonald's All-American. That was one that I've made a goal since I was in the 5th grade. You know, I knew about that and I wanted that, and it seemed, you know, so far away. And, you know, this year when we're like, oh, here, you know, nominations and stuff is coming up soon. And, you know, when I heard that I had made the team, you know, it was like just a breath of relief and super excited. So, you know, since this quarantine and stuff, it's pretty much just been working out, preparing for Oregon. You know, we're going out there in July, and I get to play with some of the new teammates and getting used to the coaches and the style of play with the team and everything. But, you know, I'm really excited to get out there and see and play competitive basketball with other, you know, players who want to play at that program and are excited and who are just as competitive as me. I'm telling them that if they want to be a great basketball player, then they just got to put in the work to do it, and that it's possible for anyone, and it's all about the person who works the hardest. But I'm also going to tell them that there's more to basketball and not to get too high or too low with anything that happens.